Hello everyone, it's Hisako again. Hope everyone is having a great day. I can't tell if the storm here is trying to clear up or not. Looks like it might be trying to, but not sure. I thought I'd do a quick little video today to kind of talk a little bit about the difference between Geisha and Maiko, and a little bit kind of beyond that as well, because they are very, very different from each other. So I will include photo examples actually over on my Instagram and my Facebook, so you can actually take a look visually, or you can look it up for yourself, whichever. But there is a distinct difference between the two. So with Maiko, which is probably what more people think of when they think of geisha in general, are much younger. They're usually anywhere between the ages of, I want to say, I think like 14 to 20. Usually after 20 years old, they become a geisha after going through the proper ceremony, or erikai, which would be the turning of the collar. But Maiko are very young. They usually start young, although you can start later. They usually wear kind of like the kimono that have the really long sleeves. They have a lot more hair ornamentation with all like the kanzashi with the flowers and stuff. They have their makeup done a little bit differently, like just the bottom lip will be done for like the really younger Maiko. It changes a little bit as they get older and go through their journey, but that's a little more detailed. But in general, they have the obi that has the really long tails on it, the darari obi. So they look very elegant, very ornate, and a lot of people, when they think of geisha, they probably immediately actually think of Maiko, which are apprentice geisha. They're in training to become a full-fledged geisha. Whereas a geisha is actually, or in Kyoto, they would call them Geko, they look more like how I look in terms of it's not as many hair ornamentation, the sleeves on the kimono are shorter, they have like a obi that's tied in the otaiko style knot, so they don't have the same more like youthful appearance. They look a little bit more mature compared to a Maiko. So once you've learned the differences, it's easy to spot them right away. You'll usually see them out together because they often work together as well. But yeah, Maiko tend to be a bit more flashy, whereas Geiko tend to be a bit more reserved. And outside of Kyoto, in places like Tokyo, Yokohama, some of the other cities out there, they also have their own sort of versions of that, but they're a little bit different. In places like Tokyo, they'll have trainees that are also apprentices, but they're usually referred to more as hangyoku in a lot of those places. And they do look a little similar to Maiko, but most of them will usually use a wig like this instead of the natural hair that a Maiko would normally do. But they'll still have the same kind of ornamentation. They still have the kimono with the very long sleeves, but it's more furisore kimono instead of the hikizuri, which would be the very long, elegant, flowy kimono you always see them wear, which is true for both geisha and Maiko. But geisha outside of Kyoto are actually referred to often as geigi, which is actually what my experience, tongue-tied, my appearance is more based off of. They're a little bit different in that, again, they don't have the long hikizuri kimono. They have more of the short sleeve, simple ones like what I have, which would be like homongi, tsukesage, these kinds of style of kimono. They still wear the wigs. They still have ornamentation. It's a little bit different for geigi than it would be for traditional Geiko. But they're very, very similar. And they're still part of the geisha community. I actually did not learn as much about geigi until I actually started doing henshin. And that's when I realized, like, oh, like, they exist. I didn't know, I didn't even know there was geisha outside of Tokyo and Kyoto. I knew about Kyoto. Everybody knows about Kyoto. And even Tokyo has many geisha in it. And I had already known about that. But I ended up learning that there are geisha all over Japan. And they're all so different and unique in their own ways. And it's been such a journey learning about all of them. And it's just so exciting. So me being from a small town myself, I've actually modeled my henshin more after the geigi from the smaller cities and towns, because I originally come from a small town. So I got very interested in kind of trying to copy their style, as you can see a little bit. So yeah, that talks a little bit about the difference between Geiko and Maiko. Maiko are usually 14 to 20 years old. They have much more of a flashier style with the longer obi, lots of hair ornaments. Geko are usually more reserved. They're 20 and older. They have the wig instead of using their natural hair the way a Maiko would. And they have more like reserved hair ornamentation, or kanzashi. they don't have the long flowy obi as well. So it's a little bit more of a mature look. Makeup's a little different as well. So if you happen to be in Kyoto or Tokyo or wherever, you'll be able to spot the differences between the two. So I hope that kind of answers a little bit about that. But again, if you have any questions, get me in the comments and I will answer them for you. All right, take care and you guys have a wonderful day. Arigato.